Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know that baby you're the best.
With 11.1 and the time is 3:55.
Alrighty guys, so the first thing I'd like you all to do is just reach in and touch the water for me. Now if you're rather in the middle and can't quite reach the water, people at the sides, just give it a little taste of what the water feels like. Yeah, cold? So the top meter of the water here is around 3 degrees Celsius, so around 37 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? So it's pretty chilly. Now underneath that top meter, you're looking at around 0.5 to 1.5 degrees, so around 34 Fahrenheit, 35 Fahrenheit, around that kind of bit there. Now this is going to come to my first rule of the day, okay? And that is, please stay seated in all times while we're out here, guys. This is just because it is very possible that things can move out here on the lake. And if that happens, I'm probably going to need to get away quite quickly, so I might drive something a little bit like this.
Oh! Best driver. It's frightening. One more, please.
Do it again. Unfortunately, that probably was the most exciting part of the trip. It is just downhill from there.
I think so.
It's on too late for one of the outlets roll.
야, 역시 멋진 톰.
Now, next thing is, if I fall in the water, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong, okay? But what I'd like you to do is not try and drive the boat. I don't trust him, I don't know. What I'd like to do is just come to the front here, pull that red cord as hard as you can, and I'm going to swim back to the boat. Now, if you're feeling kind and want to help me out, you're very welcome to. And you can use this throw bag just here. What I'd like you to do is unclip the top, holding on to the rope, throw the bag. Please remember to hold on to the rope though, otherwise they don't work too well. Okay. And then the last thing is, if I become unconscious at any point during the trip, just again pull that red cord and then grab my radio here, hold the button on the side down, go help, 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 and then one of the guys will probably come over and see what's going on. Alright? So, it is a little bit of a breeze out here today. Now, people at the sides there, so you guys side by side, you might get a little bit of splash coming your way. I will do my best to keep everyone as dry as possible, but I'm trying to balance obviously in driving into the wind and also getting to places. So I'll apply and do the best I can. Now you two at the back, you're very welcome to move around from side to side if you get splashed on either side. Come in. And then you sir, you guys can move around as well. So we'll work as a team to try and keep it as dry as possible, this boat. Alrighty, we're going to get moving.
Alrighty. Wow!
Alrighty guys, so down the end of the valley over there from one side to the other and then all the way back as far as we can see is the Tasman Glacier. Now it is New Zealand's longest and largest glacier, 23 kilometres long, but we're just seeing the first 11 kilometres of it. That's because it curves round to the right and the other 12 are hidden behind that mountain over there. Now unfortunately everyone, you've all travelled all this way to see New Zealand's ugliest glacier today. It is not very pretty, it is covered in rocks. Now it's covered in rocks because of how a glacier moves through the valley. As it goes along, it rips up the mountains and it sucks and pulls rock into the ice. And then when the ice started to melt, the rock just started to settle on the top. So a bit like cookies and cream ice cream. All the cream melts down, all the cookies start to sit on the top. Now on the top of that glacier, we actually have 6 foot of rock vertically stacked on top, which is very, very tall because it's the same height as me. It's also very good looking, very strong. Like you see. Further up the glacier is the nice white part of it, okay, so it climbs up in altitude. Now the people who've paid a little bit more money to go on the helicopters and haven't cheaped out and got the boats, they go up to that nice white part of the glacier, where there's penguins, polar bears, David Attenborough. Here is the most interesting part of the glacier by far, okay, all these icebergs. I've been on the helicopter rides, they're great, but yeah, can I get the correct? But I'm biased. Now, a glacier acts very much like a bulldozer. So as it goes along, it pushes dirt forwards, but also pushes dirt to the sides. So I've seen a bulldozer leaves those 2 lines of dirt as it goes along. Look up and down the valley here, we've got these big banked walls either side, okay? Got it. These are called lateral moraines, and it's dirt the glaciers push to the side. Also a skeleton of where the glacier used to be, because only 75 years ago, the glacier was at the tops of all of these walls around it. Okay, yeah. Now, like I said, bulldozer, which means of course it pushed the dirt forward, which is that big wall just there. That is called the terminal moraine. Okay, that's where the glacier terminated about 300 years ago, and it sat there for quite a long time. In fact, only 35 years ago, that glacier, 7 kilometres away, was still touching that wall. This lake here is 7 kilometres long, and it was not here 35 years ago. Okay. Now, the main reason we actually have this lake here is because of a landslide that happened back in about 1989. Over there, you can just see above where that yellow boat is just going over. There's a little inlet over there. Now that's the Murchison Inlet from further up the glacier. I used to go straight past the glacier when it was like up against that wall. Then that big landslide came down in a big storm, and it redirected the river towards the glacier and produced a super glacial lake, which is a lake on top of the glacier, and then that started the melting process. So yeah, right, we're gonna go see some things because there's quite a lot of cool stuff to see. Let's see if we can turn some rain into the outlet. That is about the end of the tour. No, that is an iceberg. We're just seeing around 10% of that iceberg, okay? 90% of it is underneath the water. Okay? So an iceberg likes 10, 90. Now, that's the reason we don't get too close to some of these icebergs. That 90%, we don't know what. So yeah, we're not seeing a lot of that iceberg. That's why we don't get too close to them. Now, these icebergs are broken off of the Tasman Glacier, okay, which means they've moved around 7 kilometres, okay, from that side of the lake to this side of the lake. And they accomplish that by using the wind, okay? So the wind will move these icebergs from one side of the lake to the other using the wind in 1 day. 1 day, yep. So probably by the end of maybe tomorrow or so, the majority of these icebergs are all going to be down that end of the lake just there.
Just 1 day?
So there's something over there, which is why I've come here, and I'll take pictures of it now and I'll explain it in a little bit. I'm going to go around the other side.
이게 하루 만에 또 막 그래가지고 등산 투어하는 사람들도 가가지고 어제는 분명히 있었는데 다음날 놓고 막 그런 상황이 벌어진다더라고. 그러니까 이제 트레킹 힘들다더라고. 녹아가는 기포가 있는 거고. 이거 뭐야? 이건 기포가 없는 상태로 바로 지금 떠오른 거잖아. 절로 오는 거. 완전 안쪽에 있을 건가.
That one there. Don't know. I need to find out. That's what I'm gonna tell you later. No, it is an iceberg, but it's an iceberg that has rolled over. So these icebergs move three other ways out here at the lake. Okay. The first one is called lifting. It's the most boring way. Basically, out in the sun, the 10% starts to melt. So it needs to rebalance itself, and what it will do is it will start to lift itself up, so bring some of the 90% that's underneath the water up to a place that's lost 10%. The next way is called tilting. Now this is when a chunk falls off from one side and the iceberg goes from being flat and level to being on a tilt, and what's happened here is a big chunk of the ice has fallen off and the whole iceberg has proceeded to roll over pretty much. Now, and that's exposed the ice that was underneath the water. So this is what all the ice looks like underneath the water. Super, super clear and kind of blue in a way. This one's a little bit more grey because it's got more rock content in the ice. So it kind of lowers it down a little bit. Now we can't, unfortunately we can't get too much closer to this one. A couple of reasons. First one is the outlet over there we have. If anything goes wrong, fuck down the outlet. And yeah, we just don't really know. I'm pretty sure as well. You can kind of guess how these shelves look like using my Mandarin. I taught you. Bangolaila. Yeah. Unbelievable. They do follow a bit of a pattern, these icebergs. So that is a sheer face just there. It makes sense. It continues to go sheer like down underneath the water. Now that one there is a bit like a shore, a bit like a beach, and you know obviously a beach is gradual, so it makes sense that shelf comes out probably a decent way on that bit of the ice just there. But the reason I brought you here instead of building up and then bringing you here is because this clear ice, this colour here, only lasts for about 1 hour in the sunlight, and then it'll be completely gone. You're very lucky actually to see this. It's quite a nice bird, and it's just happened. I actually saw it happen while we were loading everyone up on the boat.
Oh really?
Yeah, I saw it roll over while we were on the boat. It was really wet and glistening, so that's when I know it's just done it. We'll go around for one more little part to the other side. It's steaming like a... This one here is more grey, but it's just got more rock in it. This would tell me a couple of things about the ice. I would say it'd be older, and I'll explain why in a little bit. And also this will melt faster as well, because it has that rock content in it. That's the other thing I'll explain a little bit. Normally I don't jump straight to this kind of blue or ice, but it's here and it's not going to be here for too long. So I will go, we'll find a little piece and I'll explain more about it.
So cool.
It's lots of these different ice crystals, okay? Now these crystals are all different sizes depending on where the ice is from in the glacier. So a big crystal of ice from a slow moving part of the glacier, so the size, like a river. And those crystals will be about the size of a baseball, and they'll also be 600 years old. A small crystal will be about the size of a marble, that becomes a fast moving part of the glacier, so down the middle. And that'd be around 300 years old. Now, these crystals, this ice is very, very, very easy to break up. Not at all like that piece that we had before.
Leaving the outlet and hitting center of the lake after Nanville.
So, ice is not just one piece. It's made up of these. Not just one. Not just one piece. Now, all the ice starts its life out as snow up in the mountains. I'll switch it over to the other side so you guys can have a look as well. And up in the mountains, there's a lot of pressure, okay? And all the air gaps in the snow are really harshly compressed with a lot of pressure. Now, that means that there's gaps, air gaps in between these ice crystals. And out in the sun, these air crystals expand, so the crystals start to separate. So when you get back to the hotel, when you get off the bus, have a look up at the Hermitage Hotel. That is a 10-story building, and yeah, it is the same height as that, so it's pretty massive. Yeah, it is very, very big.